If you tell that to a normal person, they'll just shake their head in disbelief. What they said was unbelievable. And by the way, just briefly, well, the thing with the language tests for people who want to come here really needs to be regulated urgently now. They don't even need to know German anymore, just like our kids can't do math anymore. It's getting worse and worse. By the way, the Christian Democratic Union is now all for making these language tests even easier.
Each of us is closer to receiving citizens' income than to being a billionaire.
Every person here in Germany is closer to becoming a victim of a violent crime than, well, I'll be honest, ever earning €1 million. So should we now also commit the crime? Oh no, that's illegal again. No, forget what I said. These people simply have a right to stay. They're allowed to come here and they don't even need to learn the language anymore.
And that brings us to the topic of naturalization. Yes, in Germany, naturalization is supposed to happen more quickly again. The CDU, Christian Social Union, and Social Democratic Party had set broad goals.
Huh? Since when are they? Hey, that's right before the elections. Dear Christian Democratic Union, have you ever thought for a moment that these are your campaigners out there? And somehow have to tell people that the left is over after all, and that people here in Germany could actually be illegal? If this gets blown up even more now, which is why I'm saying please share this video, there are still enough people out there who want to vote against lies. Then I have to say, man, the turbo naturalization is back again after all.
So it seems there is apparently an agreement there. And these language tests that are supposed to be conducted, they are supposed to be significantly eased as well. And of course, that causes considerable outrage.
So, if the Christian Democratic Union campaign helpers hear this now, they'll break down again. They'll have a nervous breakdown, especially in the East. Yeah, why? We still remember a year ago, the left-wing campaign is over. We won't let these people into the country anymore. Now, well, the situation with the wealth tax is being kept nice and quiet. The union is just rejecting it for now, while, well, the mother's pension is already coming from their own, I really have to say it, party. But now they're also destroying things with the language tests, trying to regulate them again, even though there's so much lying and cheating involved that people just get through. Germans can hand in a fake passport and then simply obtain German credentials, even though they've actually never spoken a word of German. That's common knowledge, and it's also well known that they continue to live off social benefits. How do you actually plan to sell that to voters in the East now? Are you seriously up for that? And I'll ask the Christian Democratic Union voters, maybe someone can answer that for me. Do you seriously want to risk that, especially in the East? The alternative for Germany could just govern with 51%. That's exactly what you're aiming for right now. I really have to say it like that. Because that's exactly how the people back there will perceive it.
So how do you actually want to prevent widespread abuse when it comes to naturalization, especially with this sensitive topic among the public?
Right-wing extremists would now claim that this is exactly what is intended to gain voter groups: quick naturalization, quick voting rights. Please remember, dear people, who brought you into the country, who provided you with the German passport. Yes, and who do you have to vote for so that you don't have to go back home, right? Social Democratic Party and Christian Democratic Union, so that we can once again connect with each other's election campaign polls. And indeed, from the 60s, from the 50s, when it was always just about who are you actually voting for and with whom are you forming a coalition, guys, those times are over. And how many migrants do you want to bring into the country? 60%, so that the Germans won't forget this. Where are they all supposed to live? By now, there are more than 1.5 million apartments missing, and there are 1 million job openings, but those people can't find anywhere to live. Just think about it.
So the caseworkers are always supposed to decide whether someone has the necessary language skills.
So I'm not saying that it's all caseworkers, no question about it. But hasn't there been, from time to time recently, cases of corrupt caseworkers here in Osnabrück, in Munich, who issued such, let's say, forms for money, who simply ignored the rules and were deeply corrupt. Or maybe because they were poorly paid, they just handed out German passports for money. That reminds me, which minister was it back then who forgot 100,000 euros in his drawer? Maybe you know better, write it down in the comments below. Well, I think that not only are you giving the smugglers a huge gift, but by now also the authorities who can then cross-finance themselves, like for example in Ukraine. With a thick envelope and some random papers inside, can you just buy citizenship for yourself soon? Clever, great, and how does the Christian Democratic Union react to that?
It's being heavily criticized there, especially by the Christian Democratic Union. They literally talk about arbitrary actions by the authorities.
But I thought they had agreed on that. Oh, it's like everything right now. You have party discipline, and if you don't go along, then you don't have a job anymore. Worked out great, didn't it? If you're against it, then you're out. If it's pushed through that hard, then we just get ourselves some votes. With the left-wing extremists, it doesn't matter either. You noticed where this is heading, and this government is so unstable by now. Whether that's true or not, I don't know yet. Apparently, the money we made last year is supposed to run out by the end of this month. And after that, there will only be debt for the budget. But I'll do a bit more research on that. That means, once again, they couldn't handle money and spread it all over the world. Millions and billions that have flowed out of this country, so now the state coffers are empty again. And well, Olaf Scholz, we're missing 3 billion in the budget, so now we can say, man, we're missing at least 1 trillion in this budget just to cover the costs. Crazy, right? And anyone from the Christian Democratic Union who's against it just has to be kicked out. There probably won't be new elections either, because that's considered far right here in Germany.
In Lower Saxony, for example, similar rules apply. Here too you can waive it if, as a caseworker, you determine that during such an appointment. The person speaks fluent German, but nevertheless...
Friends, I live in Lower Saxony, in the most beautiful state in Germany. Could I urgently apply for a bit of citizen's allowance from you now? I'm definitely not on the wrong side of history either. I love your democracy and would be glad if you financed my life. Wait a minute, that's American honor rolling, so don't confuse it with something else. I can't anymore. What honestly, it's about the fact that an election campaign is being run here. How are you even supposed to do anything with such nonsense? How are you supposed to justify this kind of madness, telling people in the East to sit down and tell others, yes, things will get better? We take care of illegal migration and we don't just give them a German passport even faster. When the person sits in front of you and believes you're on the side of their democracy,